The egg that could have a dinosaur inside. Eyewitness News tonight.
Come on in, sit a spell. We've got stories and jokes to tell. It's gonna be a great Noel. It's the Advent Calendar House. Muppets, Batman, Smurfs, and even Garfield's Halloween. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane. Frosty, Rudolph, and a bunch you've probably never seen. It's Mike and pals that come to entertain. Turn the knob and lift the latch for fun and laughs that can't be matched. But just beware the icy patch. It's the Advent Calendar House.
Hello and welcome to the Advent Calendar House. A salute to all holiday specials, but mostly the Christmas ones. It's time once again to haul out the holly and those old holiday tapes, and today we start the festivities with the joyful quest for the perfect tree. So grab your nearest honeypot and waltz with us back to 1995 for an often overlooked special from Jim Henson Productions. This is Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. Welcome. We must hurry or we'll be late for Mr. Willowby's famous holiday party. Who is Mr. Willowby? Good question. He's the very cheerful fellow who lives just beyond those trees.
I am hopeless romantic butler whom I promise washed my hands after picking up a mouse and before dancing with everyone, Mike Westfall. And joining me are two stupendiferous guests. First, it's the merriest Avenger this side of the multiverse. It's Tim Babb from the Can't Wait for Christmas podcast. Hey, Tim.
These candles are burning my head.
And a bear who lives in the forest, but for some reason thinks the best place to look for a tree is the garbage. It's Anthony Strand from toughpigs.com. Hi, Anthony.
Hello, Mike. Where can my Arboretum Arbor Vitae be? That's my question.
I don't know. That's not a real thing.
It sure isn't.
We'll get to that in a bit. Thank you both for being here. Oh, this is going to be fun. I hesitate to call this an infamous Christmas special. I don't think it's well known enough to be infamous.
You know, I'm so, as you mentioned, I work for toughpigs.com, a Muppet fan site.
Yes.
And in Muppet circles, it very much is infamous.
Fair.
Like it's a very common punchline.
I've picked up on that now that you say that.
Sure.
Maybe that's why I've been saving it.
I mean, I love, obviously, Christmas. I love the Muppets, and I love Robert Downey Jr. Somehow this was completely off my radar until you sent this to me. Like, I had never even heard that this existed, much less hated it.
Much less hated it.
Sorry, much less called it infamous. I just don't want to tip my hand.
Oh, so you're a first timer.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, Anthony, I think you might have the most history with this special out of all three of us. So tell us your story.
Sure. So I didn't quite see it when it was new. I was in the target audience. I turned 11 in December of 95. But I didn't see, this is going to sound so much worse. I got it in a tape trade when I was in Muppet fan tape trading circles in high school. So I was probably 15 or 16. And in those days, you found other Muppet fans on the internet and you emailed them and said, here's my list of Muppet specials and what do you have? And let's trade. That's actually how I met my co-host on my podcast, Ryan Rowe.
Oh, beautiful.
Our first ever direct interaction was a tape trade. Tim has a Kermit stuffy on his head.
Yes, he does.
That's how I roll.
I'm here for it. But I got this in a tape trade and it was just some Muppet thing. And here's the thing about this special, Mike. The Muppets did several Christmas specials where Kermit just kind of introduces it and then gets out of the way.
Yes.
Right? You've covered Emmett Otter. You've covered the Christmas toy.
Yeah.
Right? And this is like those, but terrible.
Yeah. Nope. Well done.
So because there was something about like, we're doing this again. It's that classic Muppet thing of Kermit, get the whole family together. Kermit's going to introduce a Christmas special and just nothing about it works. So I probably have seen it 25 times in conclusion.
Yeah, well, same. Now that I think about it, I've known about this for years. I remember reading old articles about it, but I didn't actually watch it for the first time until 4 years ago. It was 2020. When the pandemic first started, we started showing the kids the Marvel movies, and then we got to Iron Man 3.
A Christmas classic. Yeah.
A Christmas classic. It's set at Christmas, and that's when I remembered, oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr. was in a Christmas special with Kermit the Frog. And that's when I looked it up on YouTube and learned, well, it's a Christmas special with some Muppets.
That is true. We should also note that Iron Man 3 is the only Christmas movie that starts with Blue by Eiffel 65, to my knowledge.
So far.
But the only one so far.
So far, exactly.
All we have is time. So Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree debuted December 6th, 1995, a Wednesday night on CBS, which means Bless This House, the show that tried to make Andrew Dice Clay a relatable sitcom dad, would not be seen that evening. Or for that matter, too many more evenings after that because it got canceled in January, and good.
I was going to say, I now take back my harsh opinion of this special. That was clearly a better thing to air than more Bless This House.
Yeah, well, also, they ran this after A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, man.
This was the B-side that year to A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, no. Can you imagine the Hark the Herald ends? You're just feeling so good. You're on such a high. All of Charlie Brown's friends tell him that his life is worthwhile. They're all doing the oohs together. And then this thing happens at you.
Well, before that, Anthony, and you know this because you told me about this, they advertised this coming up next with a weird bumper.
They sure did. So that ad is actually not up next. It's an ad for the 2 specials.
Oh, okay.
So what you're talking about is a CBS promo narrated by Brian Cummings, veteran voice actor, announcer Brian Cummings, very talented fellow.
Oh, yeah.
He inexplicably plays Kermit the Frog in this ad.
Right.
And so the ad is, it's like a Charlie Brown Christmas on CBS, and then me, Kermit, in Mr. Willowby. And it sounds like that. Like
it sounds exactly like that, actually. Like
Kermit the Frog.
It sounds like someone doing an impression of Kermit the Frog.
Hey, it's a Charlie Brown Christmas, followed by Meet Kermit and a great new holiday special with Robert Downey Jr. and Leslie Nielsen. Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree all Wednesday.
Yeah, and like not even a good one. Like it's someone doing a bad impression of Frank Welker as Baby Kermit on Muppet Babies.
Yeah, wow.
You know?
Wow, I didn't put that together, but you're absolutely right. That is a Baby Kermit impression.
It's 100% a Baby Kermit.
Wow.
And I think all the time about the way he says, all Wednesday on CBS.
Yes.
Like, when I saw that promo, I no longer feel bad about Carl, the imaginary listener who sounds kind of like Kermit the Frog.
No, yours sounds better than Brian Cummings.
I'm out of the cellar.
Professional voice actor, Brian Cummings.
Yes. So, but like that ad, I think really is like a harbinger of what's to come.
Oh, yeah. And also, this is based on a book. It's based on a 1963 children's picture book by author Robert Barry. And Anthony, I believe you have a copy of said book.
I do. I own the book, and actually it's kind of like a favorite in my house. We read it to the kids every Christmas. When we were going to watch the special the other night, my son, who's 6, was like, we got to read the book first.
Yeah.
You know? So we did. And my kids love that book. It's really a charming little book. It's written in rhyme, and it's very like no frills, but charming rhymes, you know, and it follows a similar premise to this special. It's about this rich guy, Mr. Willowby, gets a Christmas tree, cuts off the top because it's too tall for his, living room or whatever. And then the top keeps getting cut off as various, first his butler, then his gardener, then a bear family, then a fox family, rabbit family, and a mouse family each get a part of the tree. And the thing is, you can see how that would have made a charming special.
Yeah.
It's for a children's book, it's a nice premise. It's cute. You know, it's a lot of little fun animals. but they made, I would say, 3 disastrous miscalculations when they made it into a live action special. One is that they have the mouse family throughout kind of for no reason, just commenting on what the other animals are.
Yeah.
And they're not fun characters.
What?
2, you think the mice are fun? You like them? You like them?
No, I'm just trying to start some debate.
I mean, again,
I can't back it up.
much like Brian Cummings, they're played by talented puppeteers. I mean, it's Kevin Clash, it's David Rudman, and it's Julianne Busher.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Clash was Elmo for 30 years. David Rudman has been Cookie Monster for close to 25.
Wow,
He plays the son,
yeah.
And Julianne Busher was like Yolanda and Denise on the Muppets sitcom recently. She's very talented.
Oh, yeah.
But the characters are nothing, and we spend a lot of time with them just being like, these owls are so Christmassy.
They do that a lot.
Whatever.
We'll get to that.
Do it a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, and then the third, and I think the truly fatal miscalculation is that Robert Downey Jr., perhaps at his low point as a person, like struggling with drug addiction, his performance in this is truly unwatchable, I think. Like, he's not good at all.
It's watchable.
Yeah.
In the same way a train wreck is watchable.
Yeah. It's watching a tire fire and just marveling at it. But
Yeah, and part of it is the dialogue that they give him, which is also not in the book. We'll get into that, but like in the book, the character just talks like a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, are you saying that Robert Downey Jr. was perhaps miscast?
I am. Yeah, yes.
Do you know who disagrees with you?
Who?
The Casting Society of America.
Yes.
Who awarded this special best casting for a TV nighttime special. What was up against it that year?
That's wild.
Like, I assume there must have been another special that cast a rock, not the rock, a rock, and some moldy cheese. And, and Marilyn Monroe, even though she'd been dead for years.
Is it because they got Kermit?
They got Kermit.
Are they counting Kermit?
They must be.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Performance of the year, Steve Whitmire. And we should say also that the behind the scenes talent on this thing was very good. The script is by Mitchell Kriegman.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know that name.
Who had just finished Clarissa Explains It All, which he was the creator and showrunner of, and was just about to go be the creator and showrunner of Bear in the Big Blue House.
Oh, wow.
So 2 very good children's programs about lead characters who talk to the camera.
And then something about Steve Whitmire's performance of Kermit in this special sounded to me like he was either reading his lines for the first time while they were recording or being held at knife point. Yeah,
right. He's really not into it. And I kind of wonder if he did like go in cold, because he has 2 scenes, right? He's at the beginning and at the end.
And he does some narration over in the middle parts.
Yeah, there are a few more.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Yep.
That's the thing. Kermit doesn't get out of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to explain the complex narrative of mice in a tree that is increasingly getting smaller. How else am I supposed to follow this?
Right.
But what I was going to say about the creative team, if I may,
sure,
is that John Stone directed this, and does that name mean anything to you, Mike or Tim?
Mm-mm.
So John Stone was essentially the showrunner of Sesame Street at the beginning of it.
Oh.
He directed like thousands and thousands of Sesame Street segments over the course of its first 29 seasons. And like when we talk about the people who made Sesame Street what it is, he's one of them. He's right there in the top 4 or 5 names. So like this is genuinely talented people creating this thing. And I have no idea why they did this.
Yeah, like the fact that this exists in the form that it does is such a mystery. But again, like I can't take my eyes off it every time I watch it.
Same.
And if you want to watch this and not take your eyes off it, it is not currently streaming anywhere at press time. So I have no reservations about putting a link to a recording of it on YouTube in the show notes, courtesy of my pal at the Haunted Drive-In. That's in the show notes. This copy was taped off the TV the night it aired in 1995 on KDKA in Pittsburgh.
You'll love to see it.
And the video begins with a teaser for that night's 11 o'clock news. The egg that could have a dinosaur inside. And then we open with the words, a Nabisco Family Classic. I know those words, but that sign makes no sense.
Those individual words all make sense.
Yeah.
I imagine they plan to do more of these, and after this, they're like, forget it. We Nabisco don't want to.
I think they tried to do what Kraft did with the Christmas toy, and it was just a bunch of Kraft holiday recipes, and that was all of the commercial breaks throughout the Christmas toy. But this is all just commercials for your favorite Nabisco products. It was like Dizzy Grizzlies, Teddy Grahams, but they have sprinkles.
So about 3/4 of the way through this, my daughter was like, why are all the commercials for food? And I was like, well, it's a Nabisco Family Classic.
It sure is.
But my son Miles, who's 6, was so excited to see a commercial for Wheat Thins, his favorite cracker.
That Wheat Thins commercial, they try to make Wheat Thins cool by throwing math into it.
Right. Well, there was that. There's that one, and there's the Ritz Air Crisps ad.
Oh yeah,
with like the Queen of England surrogate being like, "You should eat proper things instead of pouring Ritz Air Crisps into your mouth." But which are both part of that like 90s trend, right? Of like, adults can't see why we love apple
right.
pies.
That's exactly what it is.
This isn't your father's cereal, but
no, Nintendo got in on that. It's just like, here's Kirby and sunglasses.
Right. All of the adults in your school don't understand bubble tea. Whatever. Like,
it's 6 feet of bubble gum for you,
not them.
No, exactly. Like, and there are so many. Like, it was just the only way to market to children in the 90s was to like talk about how dumb adults, and it worked because we're still sitting around talking about it. Like, we're still like, I'm a cool 90s kid.
Yeah, you know? I sure am.
I do feel bad. I feel like there's less of that nowadays, like, because there's not Saturday morning cartoons. So like our kids don't have the, like, we are making commercials for you.
Right. Well, and they're like speaking for my kids personally, their experience with commercials is like smash that skip button as soon as possible. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
Unless they're on terrestrial TV, in which case my son's like, wait, stop. Now we stop talking. Commercials are on. Like, what?
Right?
No, for us, it's just like, we get it. Gambling's legal in Florida now.
All right. Well, that's not a shared experience over here.
No, it's whatever. One of those sports betting websites. And like they do a whole singing dance, just like, or like, here's medication for something I hope I never get. Hey, do your eyes suck?
My kids can't wait to hear more about what will create more laundry freshness. Like they're like, shh, listen.
They're like, it's Tide time.
Back in my day, our laundry detergent was marketed by a teddy bear.
Back in my day, our laundry detergent was marketed by a Mr. Belvedere type man who pulled it out of the...
Who's Mr. Belvedere? All right, hang on. We got to find that on streaming now. But after the words, a Nabisco Family Classic...
We're not very far into the special. We've sidetracked quite a bit. Sorry.
We barely got started. The first character we meet is our old pal Kermit.
And he says, hey, it's me, Kermit.
Which... He's wearing a very fancy top hat and suit with a white bow tie and appears to be a fur overcoat, welcomes us, and we must hurry or we'll be late for Mr. Willowby's holiday party.
Is he going to the party?
Yeah, he goes to the party. We see him at the party later.
He's at the party at the end, yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, is he just wandering around the woods in a suit? Like, hey, I'll direct you to the party. But anyway.
As you do.
He looks great.
He does, yeah.
I love his outfit in this. It's similar to Muppet Christmas Carol, but it's not the same costume.
No, it's a little more modern, but it's fancy.
Mm-hmm.
He cleans up well. But who is Mr. Willowby? He's the very cheerful fellow who lives just beyond those trees. And he claims Mr. Willowby loves Christmas more than anyone in the world. Oh, is that right?
Mike's like, come bring it.
I got 3 people here who will disagree with you, but...
Now, Mr. Willowby loves Christmas more than anyone in the world. But for him and those who share his home, the holiday season doesn't truly begin until the arrival of what he would call his perfect Arboretum Arbor Vitae.
Arboretum Arbor Vitae, which... That's not a real scientific notation for anything.
So Arboretum means a tree garden.
Yeah, it's a place.
And arbor means a tree, and vitae means of life. So this is just tree garden, tree of life.
Yeah, there is a group of plants called arbor vitae, but that's not their scientific name. They're cedars.
Sure.
You know, the ones with the leaves that are flat, like you closed a book on them?
Yeah.
Those are arbor vitae.
Oh, okay.
The actual name of the genus is Thuja, but that doesn't sound as whimsical.
That's my favorite character from Dune.
Thuja.
Yeah.
This just goes to show when you're rich enough and you make a mistake, no one will correct you.
Nope.
So no one's going to tell them that's not a Christmas tree. It's just like, oh, all right, whatever, pay my bills, go for it.
That's not what that's called, sir. But
where on earth on this most Christmas Eve, Christmas Eves can my Arboretum Arbor Vitae be?
I should also mention this characterization of Mr. Willowby is not at all in the very short children's book. It's all purely an invention of Robert Downey Jr. and this special.
Yeah, in the book, he's like some like Mr. Monopoly.
He does look like Mr. Monopoly.
Pennybags looking guy, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like he and Leslie Nielsen should have swapped roles.
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
Yes, good call.
Because the butler in the book is much younger, or at least younger looking.
Right.
So like, what? I don't. And also, who is going to do a whimsical, over the top character better than Leslie Nielsen? I keep almost saying Liam Neeson. I constantly get their names confused.
That would have been a very different.
Liam Neeson he's starring in the upcoming Naked Gun remake. That's true.
I was like, that's only going to make it worse for me.
Oh, goodness. That's why they picked him. It was a typo. It was just like, you know what? Give him a call. For those of you wondering where this falls in Robert Downey Jr.'s filmography, this is a year after Natural Born Killers. And my wife would like me to point out it's also a year after one of her favorites, Only You.
He did those two the same year?
Those two were both 94.
Wow.
And this is the same year he was in that weird version of Richard III that was set in the 1930s and had Ian McKellen.
And it's also the same year as Home for the Holidays.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Which he's very good at.
Yeah.
As Holly Hunter's brother. He's extremely funny in that movie.
Yeah, but then in this, I do like this Perfect Tree song, though. It's cheerful, but him just dancing around very whimsically and probably a little drunkenly. Something about it does it for me.
The perfect tree will fill the hall so perfectly. Glorioso arbor vitae to welcome Christmas Day. I can hardly wait to see such a tremendiosity. Oh, where now can it be? The perfect tree. Humongous the gifts I love to give.
Stupendous the gifts I long to give.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, he puts his whole heart and soul into this. That's another Robert Downey Jr. movie. But
It is.
during this, we meet his housekeeping staff as they're just trying to move all his breakable furniture out of the way as he sachets his robe around the room. That's where we meet Leslie Nielsen as his butler, Baxter.
Baxter, in all your fabulous dexterity, tell me, where on earth, where could it be?
What's that?
The tree, Baxter. Could those lumbering lumberjacks have lumbered off the wrong way with my tree?
Well, sir, they were precisely instructed, expressly directed to deliver the tree upon the hour.
Appearing here just a few weeks before the premiere of that beloved holiday classic, Dracula Dead and Loving It. That movie was a Christmas weekend release.
That is wild. That is bananas.
Oh, he had a rough December.
I have not seen that movie, so I can't say whether Leslie Nielsen was funnier in that or in this, but he doesn't make a lot of jokes here.
No.
he makes a lot of jokes in Dracula, but they're not top shelf for him or Mel Brooks, if we're being honest. But yeah, he's not funny here. I mean, he gets to do some business, like physical comedy business with like moving things around.
Yes.
But it's not great. He's a pro, so he gives it his all.
Maybe he's trying to be a butler and that's why he seems so stiff. But there are some subtle physical comedy moments, like very calmly moves a vase of flowers out of the way so Mr. Willoughby doesn't knock them over, but then he drops it anyway at the end of the song when Mr. Willoughby shouts for him. I should also mention, this was not Leslie Nielsen's first shared billing with Kermit the Frog. A year earlier, he was in the music video for Kermit and Miss Piggy's cover of She Drives Me Crazy.
Can I tell you something about that?
Tell me something about that.
So on my podcast, Moving Right Along,
yep,
we covered, we interviewed Robert Kraft, who was the head of Jim Henson Records during its very brief existence.
I remember this episode.
And then he went on to be the music director for 20th Century Fox Film Department. So like he produced the Titanic soundtrack. And he came on our show to talk about Kermit Unpigged, which is, I still can't believe that happened. But the most delightful surprise in that interview is that he went through every single guest star in the She Drives Me Crazy video and talked about how they ended up being in it.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And I don't remember why Leslie Nielsen is in the video, but you can listen to our episode on a Robert Kraft interview to find out if you want to.
Yeah, like that ended up being so fantastic, having him on there. And he was on board with everything. And just what a thrill that must have been for you.
It was really fun.
So here we also briefly meet Mr. Willoughby's maid, Miss Adelaide, and it's Stockard Channing.
Yeah.
Not the Rizzo I was expecting to see working with Kermit.
Yes.
That's true. This is a number of years before she met the Sesame Street gang on the West Wing as First Lady Abby Bartlett.
This is the same year as To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, which she was in.
Oh, sure.
What a weird trio, these three.
Yeah.
It's as though someone knocked over a name, a bowl full of names of Hollywood people and picked three.
Yeah, just
without looking.
Dartboard full of names. But during this perfect tree song, we zoom into a little mouse hole in the wall of Mr. Willoughby's living room. And inside, we meet a family of mice who are also singing about getting their perfect tree.
Every year for Christmas cheer, I whip up my 4 cheese stew. Hang a wreath around the clock, like our grandma used to do.
We don't own you yet.
I guess Disney owns this thing, right? They've never released it in any form. It has Kermit in it. It's from the 90s.
It has Kermit in it. It's from the 90s. So
I'm like, it depends. Is it a Henson thing or is it a Muppet thing?
Right. That's the thing, because they don't own the Christmas toy. They don't own Emmett Otter.
Right.
You know, so I'm honestly not sure. I mean, it's probably, I'm sure there's a Muppet wiki page for this, but.
There sure is. To the internet.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up. What does Disney own? Let's see.
Oh, well, that's going to be a long Google result.
No, I know.
I own you and you and you. Huh?
Who owns which Muppet Productions? I knew there would be a Muppet Wiki page.
Beautiful.
Muppet Wiki is great, and all of its editors are my heroes. I would say. Let's see. Control F Willowby. Let's see. Well, look at this. It's under a footnote. Note 1, it says. So I got to click on Note 1. Listed as identified entertainment property in 2004 Disney Muppets purchase. So it is owned by Disney.
Okay.
But they have never done a thing with it. Why would they?
It does say Jim Henson Productions on Wikipedia.
Sure.
And it aired on CBS because it was that like limbo time where what network will put this Muppet thing on it?
Yeah, this is years. I mean, Disney sale wasn't until 2004.
Right.
So this is, yeah. And even after that, Letters to Santa aired on NBC in 2008.
Was that on NBC?
Yep, sure was.
Well, oh, you're right, because they had, Jane Krakowski was on it. Yeah, all of the NBC people.
But 3 months later, Muppets Tonight was on ABC, and it's one of my favorite Muppet things in the world was Muppets Tonight.
Sure.
Loved Muppets Tonight.
And I can't believe in 3 months they went from this to that.
Sure, yeah.
It's like some sort of like 80s sports movie turnaround locker room talk must have happened in between those two.
So Pa Mouse is preparing to go out and get the perfect tree. He's got a cute little tiny baby axe and everything, and both of his kids, Ned and Beverly, want to go with him. So they scurry out of their hole and into the night. And the kids are nervous about being out in the wild, but Pa Mouse tells them he's done this every Christmas since he was their age. He says nothing has ever happened before, and nothing is going to happen now. Trust me.
Spoiler alert, don't trust him.
Beverly asks how they will know which tree is the perfect tree, and it doesn't take long before they stand before it perfectly bathed in perfect moonlight. It's the same effect as when Clark Griswold finds his perfect tree.
It's true, yeah.
But this one looks like it's even bigger, and wow, the mice climb all the way to the top. And Pa Mouse sings to his kids. He sings this cute little song. Look and you will see. This is how we cut the perfect tree. And he races his axe, and we hear it chop, but he hasn't moved yet. And it took me a second to realize someone else is cutting down the tree from the bottom. Here it's a group of singing lumberjacks employed by Mr. Willowby to find and bring him the perfect tree.
I really like that the lumberjacks are like nanny style from Muppet Babies.
Yes.
We just see their boots.
We only see their boots and them just hauling the tree away as the mice hold on for dear life unnoticed.
In my headcanon, they are the same lumberjacks that are singing background in the Monty Python sketch, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because you don't see their faces. They could be anybody. I assume that was Eric Idle and John Cleese and whoever.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, they were all available.
But due to contract things, they couldn't have their face on camera.
No.
Yeah. Someone should ask Eric Idle and Michael Palin about this.
Oh, jeez. Last time someone asked Eric Idle about working with a fictional character, it was Figment, and it did not go well.
That's true.
But we cut back to Mr. Willowby getting impatient, waiting for his tree to arrive. And he asks Baxter, in all his fabulous Baxterity, where could it be? Baxter assures him the lumberjacks were instructed to arrive at the top of the hour, and he checks his pocket watch. We hear a clock chime, and right on schedule, the lumberjacks burst into the front door, singing their merry little tune as they march in with a perfect tree.
Did they time it out, or do you think they were just, standing in place at the door until the clock struck?
Oh, that would have been funny.
Nope, too early. Too early.
Wait, just keep marching in place.
Stretch.
So Mr. Willowby has to climb his extravagant staircase in order to fully observe his Christmas tree and how stupendiferous it is. I can't believe I pronounced that twice, both times. Big red underline under it. Meanwhile, the mouse family is still hanging on top of the tree. The humans don't see them, but Ned asks,
"Are you sure this is the way to bring home the perfect tree?"
Well, yes, Ned. This tree cutting is very complicated.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So they hide as Mr. Willowby looks up at his tree only to realize it's too tall even for his 2-story living room. So he asks Baxter what they should do about it. And before he can even answer, Mr. Willowby suggests carving a hole in the roof. Like you do.
What a wacky guy.
You got a sunroof now. Then he asks if he should drill a hole in the... Well, he doesn't say floor. He says drill a pit in the parquet.
Yeah.
It's a parquet floor, which is
No, it's butter.
There it is. There it is.
Sorry, that's Kraft.
No, that was the other special.
Misco family classic. How dare you?
Yeah. It's a parquet floor, which is when hardwood tiles are arranged in a pattern, like the Boston Garden basketball court is probably the most famous one. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Pa Mouse thinks he now has the all clear to cut off their own part of the tree for himself, and he once again starts to sing, but before he can make a single chop, Baxter lobs off the top with an axe. sending the portion of the mouse family is hanging on, falling to the floor, and no one pays the mice any mind as Mr. Willowby praises Baxter's ingenuity.
How did no one notice the mice in the tree?
I don't know, especially in the next scene.
Yeah, this is a running theme, but how did he not, they were right by his head. And also, he just had an axe on him.
He's the butler.
Leslie Nielsen.
That's two.
I've got a special certain set of skills, and they are chopping down Christmas trees.
Right.
Nice.
Anyway, just the fact that he just had it. Oh, let me just get my pocket axe.
Right. Just
my travel axe.
You got to be prepared. You got to anticipate.
That could have been a great running gag through this. By the way, the top of the tree he just cut off is taller than Leslie Nielsen.
Well, because it has to look like a tree in Stockard Channing's bedroom.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Not like a, branch.
Right.
In fairness, this was a gripe I had with the book as well. I was like, this would not continue to look like a tree after this many chops.
Right.
And it doesn't in the book, but it's cute the way they draw it. Yeah, Baxter's about to go and dispose of the top of the tree he just cut off, and Mr. Willowby has another idea. He suggests that Baxter give it to Miss Adelaide, and Baxter suddenly becomes wide-eyed and kind of nervous. And in tears, Mr. Willowby explains Miss Adelaide is far away from her family and far away Sweden. That's how he says it.
Sweden.
Poor Miss Adelaide. All alone. So far away from her family and far away Sweden. She never comes down for Christmas anymore because she's so alone. And so poor Miss Adelaide.
Poor Miss Adelaide. Someone should make her a bag of chocolate-covered birdseed.
He also says she's so poor. I'm like, he says those exact words. It's she's so poor or something like that. I'm like, don't you pay her?
Right.
Yeah.
She lives at your house.
You can solve this.
We find Miss Adelaide in her chambers upstairs, lighting a bunch of candles to remind her of Christmas back home. And Baxter very awkwardly brings her the top of the tree, which she declares is the perfect tree for her room. And she asks Baxter to bring it in, and he stammers, I can't do that. It's a lady's bedchambers, and it's a lady he's obviously quite fond of. So yeah, he's very nervous here in his lovable Leslie Nielsen way, but not quite as extreme at the moment.
I love that someone saw these two tertiary characters in the book and said, there's got to be a hidden romance here. Let's put it in the special.
Right. None of this is in the book.
No, right.
They don't have time for that sort of thing. So she shows Baxter all the candles she lit and briefly sings a song about her Christmas tradition. And no disrespect meant to Stockard Channing, but she's speaking and singing in this weird Swedish accent here.
Please, Mr. Baxter, look. I've just been decorating for Christmas, just like we used to do when I was little. Long, long ago, it was a Christmas tree with lights all aglow that brought my family together as one.
Mr. Baxter.
Yes. Like, we know she can sing. We've all seen Grease.
Yeah.
Look at me, the perfect tree.
Good.
Miss Adelaide explains the candles represent celebrating the return of daylight after the long darkness of winter. They start on St. Lucia's Day, which explains all the candles. When the daughters of the house put on a beautiful white gown, and then she puts a beautiful white gown on Baxter. Then she puts the wreath of candles on his head and goes to light it, but Baxter blows out her match and explains,
We also have a time-honored Baxter family tradition.
Oh.
We never put a lighted candle in our hair.
He said it.
Miss Adelaide laughs and gives him a hug. Meanwhile, the mouse family's still on the tree watching this. How have the humans not noticed them already?
Right.
And Baxter, still wearing the wreath, asks where to put the tree, and as he moves it, Paw Mouse falls out of the tree right next to Baxter's foot, and now he notices and shouts they need to get rid of it. But Miss Adelaide reminds Baxter it's Christmas, and she picks up the mouse and sets him free. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
And as we all know, The Swedish never kill mice on Christmas.
That's right.
That's a famous Swedish tradition.
Yeah, you can't throw a rock without hearing that story about how this. I have no idea where this comes from.
Baxter gives her an awkward "as you wish" and goes to leave, but Miss Adelaide calls him back, puts a little sprig from the tree into a suit pocket, and sings a whole thing about how it holds the spirit of the season.
The perfect tree, so small for all its history.
And Leslie Nielsen's just standing there through this whole song, staring with a blank expression on his face like, how did I get here?
It's so true.
Finally, Miss Adelaide tells Baxter to please be kind this Christmas Eve, especially to yourself. It's Christmas Eve! I think it's the first time that's mentioned.
You thought it was early. You thought it was December 6th.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's when the special aired.
That's when or St. Lucia's Day is the 14th? And wrong. 13th or 14th.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you can't rush getting the tree.
Right, this is one of those specials where let's get the tree on Christmas Eve.
Not only Mr. Willowby, but every subsequent domino down this chain of tree also like, oh.
Yeah, they're all super late getting their tree. Like, it's Christmas Eve night and they're doing this.
Oh, is that today? Oh, all right. Let's get a tree.
So Baxter silently walks out, or attempts to. He's the exact height of the door, but he's still got the wreath of candles on his head. So that was a cute little ending to this scene. Leslie Nielsen was 6'1", so not exceptionally tall either.
I mean, some would say 6'1" is incredibly tall.
I would, yeah. But if the doorway's that low, you can bet the ceiling probably is too. It's a vaulted ceiling, and now we remember the top of the tree he gave to Miss Adelaide was taller than he is. So now we see that it's too tall for the room with the vaulted ceiling.
What are they going to do?
I don't know. Meanwhile, Pa Mouse rejoins his children in the tree and once again attempts to cut the perfect. Whoa! Miss Adelaide beats him to it, cuts off the top, and without noticing the mice on it, still chucks it out her window. Right into the trash, which is conveniently also right out her window. That's why she's lighting all those candles.
It smells like feet.
There are bedrooms next to the side of the house where they keep the garbage.
You'd think the kids at one point would say, like, stop singing the song and just start chopping. Every time you start singing, something goes wrong.
Yeah, right. Like, and he does it every time, or attempts
every time.
The mouse children are okay, but Beverly asks where they are now, and Pa simply says we're exactly where we're meant to be, which is right in front of a giant bear.
Old cheddar.
Or I guess it's a regular-sized bear, and the mice are regular-sized mice, because we're seeing it from their point of view.
What is the not expletive, but what does the dad say when he turns the camera just before it goes to commercial break?
He says, "Oh, cheddar."
That's what it was. For a hot second, I was like, what? Oh, cheddar. Okay.
Cheddar.
when I watched it, I was like,
yeah. And actually, if I remember right, we go from this bear and Oh Cheddar to those dizzy grizzly bears immediately. So it's back-to-back bear content.
That's
you're right.
Synergy. Yeah. That's just corporate synergy going on at full tilt.
I wish they planned that.
Would have been great if they did it like a 1950s style. Just like, and while you're enjoying the bear family on Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree, why not have some dizzy grizzly bears?
We should bring that back.
And other podcasts kind of do it, like podcasts.
Oh yeah,
ads,
they do.
Like,
absolutely.
It'll be like the host being like, "You should buy a Casper mattress. I got one."
That reminds me, stamps.com is a real great place.
Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. Brought to you by Nabisco, where America goes for goodness in snacking.
Here come those dizzy grizzly bears. They're starting to get busy. They'd like to show you both their sides, because that's what makes them dizzy.
Dizzy Grizzlies!
Sprinkles are on one side, Grand Belle's on reverse. It's like you get two snacks in one, so join us in this verse.
Dizzy Grizzlies!
Flip them over back to front, it's gonna make them dizzy. Did you ever think you'd have such fun playing with a grizzly?
Dizzy Grizzlies!
From Teddy Grahams.
Allow me to present new Ritz Air Crisps, a rather delicate new snack. Slowly savor the delicious flavor and the crispy little air pockets. And never eat more than one at a time.
New Ritz Air Crisps. Crispy, then delicious. Inhale them.
Hey, I'm Matt from North Pole Radio, and I wrote a book with Santa Claus. No, really, I did, and you can read it right now. It's available. It's called Santa in His Own Words, and it tells the story of Santa's life, you guessed it, in his own words. It is a historical, magical journey that begins in the country of Lycia and spans all over the world, finally ending up at the North Pole. Why does Santa live at the North Pole? How do reindeer fly? How did Santa meet the elves? How did Santa meet Mrs. Claus? You can find out all of that and more in this book. You can find it now on Amazon or on Barnes & Noble's website. It's available in paperback or for your e-reader if you prefer that. So go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and purchase your preferred format today. Thanks for reading, and remember, as always, keep Christmas with you.
But tell me more about this humongous visitation of Christmas time, as Mr. Willowby says.
Yes, when we return after those messages from Nabisco, Kermit recaps the story so far, but I'm not even paying attention to what he's saying because the bear in the background is going through Mr. Willowby's garbage on the side of his house.
Yes, on this magical night, everyone is seeking the perfect tree. Mr. Willowby, our little mouse family, Miss Adelaide, and even one of the local bears.
The man built a mansion in the middle of the woods where bears live, and he doesn't have any bear-proof trash bins, which exist. I don't live that close to bears, but close enough that my county gave me a bear-proof trash can. They're just, Mr. Willowby's just going with the classic Oscar the Grouch style metal can.
Now, is this bear Bobo?
This bear is not Bobo.
But one of them is.
One of them is.
Yeah.
I remember perking up in my seat. I'm like, Bobo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. This bear is rummaging through the trash to find the perfect tree, of course.
Of course.
Bear, you live in the woods. This bear's name is Beatrice, and her voice is also performed by Julianne Busher.
A tree, a perfect tree.
A bear, a great big bear.
This is a full-bodied Muppet, though. I actually like how Matt Vogel refers to Big Bird as a puppet you wear.
Yeah.
And wearing this puppet is Sherry Weiser.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, who has also worn Hoggle in Labyrinth and Marie Dodo in Follow That Bird. And as Beatrice the Bear carries off her perfect tree, the mice are still hanging on to it, still unnoticed, as Kermit tells us tonight is the night of the traditional midwinter honeypot waltz.
So we were watching this, I said my family was, and my wife Roz, just before the bear shows up, was like, this isn't as bad as I remembered. And then the honeypot waltz happened. And she was just like, oh yeah.
It's like a freaking country bear jamberoo around here. Don't get too excited. It's just 3 bears.
It's just 3 bears, like,
and Goldilocks doesn't even show up.
No
Goldilocks. They just like hold a honeypot and like kind of like walk around in a circle for a very long time.
Yeah, they hold the honeypot as they're dancing. So I guess the honeypot waltz isn't a gathering of bears, but just a household tradition on Christmas Eve.
And not to be a pedant, but it's not midwinter.
Hey, yeah.
If it's Christmas Eve, winter just happened 3 days ago.
That's right.
It's the beginning of winter holiday tradition, or they're doing it early. One way, this must be addressed. When they when they do the novelization. Or perhaps when they convert this to a Broadway musical. They've got to address these inconsistencies.
No, I didn't even notice that because I'm too busy looking at Beatrice's parents because her Papa Bear is 100% Bobo.
Yeah.
Before Bobo was Bobo.
And not too long because like Tim said earlier, Muppets Tonight premiered in February of 96 or March of 96.
Right. And I think it's still Bill Beretta in the not yet Bobo suit. It's Kevin Clash's voice, but Bill Beretta has a credit as Bear on IMDb.
Yeah, so it might very well be him. Yeah.
Yeah. Just breaking it in like a new sneaker.
You're just in time for the traditional honeypot waltz.
And I thought, oh, this must be the first time Bobo ever appeared, but no, he appeared way back in Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah, he's one of the bears in Fozzie's hibernating commune.
When I thought I could give the special something, I'm like, at least, like the Star Wars holiday special introduced Boba Fett, and maybe this introduced Bobo. Nope.
Bobo
Fett.
No, it didn't, sadly.
It wrote itself.
Yep, it was right there.
Well, speaking of Fozzie's Cave in the Muppets Take Manhattan, that's where Mama Bears come from. Y'all remember Beth?
Sure do.
Yep.
Sure do.
Mama's Beth.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the bear that snuggles up close to Fozzie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Muppet Wiki says Julianne's voicing both Mama Bear and Beatrice. I don't have a credit for who's puppeteering Mama Bear, but IMDb credits Kevin Thompson as a bear. Kevin Thompson is a little person actor who also performed as an Ewok in Return of the Jedi and both Ewok adventure movies and a bunch of other stuff. So maybe that would be the only bear left. We don't see any more.
Right.
Because it's just these three bears dancing while holding honeypots. I thought it was a cute name, but actually holding the honeypots as they danced looked really awkward.
It looks really dumb, and you can kind of see their human hands with black gloves on, holding the actual honeypots inside of the bear paws. It's really cheap looking.
Yeah.
Once you notice that, and again, like I said, I've watched this almost every Christmas since 2000, so I've seen it way too many times.
Yeah, and then at one point, Papa Bear switches out his honeypot partner for the tree and starts dancing with the tree, and we hear the mice start panicking as they get passed around to the other bears.
Oh, bears are so weird.
Hang on.
No, generous.
What? No, what did she see that said, oh, generosity? That's what I'm witnessing.
I don't know, but later she adds, and Christmassy.
Yeah.
Nothing about this dance screams Christmassy to me. The only thing that either of them says that speaks to me about this dance is Beverly says bears are so weird. Ned continues and energetic. That's it. I don't think it's Christmassy. But then again, I haven't spent Christmas with a lot of bears, so. But after the honeypot waltz is over, the Papa Bear tells Beatrice she brought home a grand honeypot tree. Almost perfect, but it's still too big for their bear cave, which has windows and appears to be a kitchen. It's a fully furnished cave.
Yeah, it's like a real Bernstein Bears situation.
Yeah, it's Bear in the moderately sized brown cave.
That's right.
It looks like a set piece from Dinosaurs, what it looks like to me.
It might be. Dinosaurs had just ended.
Right. But Beatrice tells her dad not to worry. She'll just take a little off the top. And we cut to Pa Mouse again, trying to sing the song to his children. But he gets as far as "This Is How" before Beatrice finishes sawing off the top. They fall again, and Father Bear tosses it outside.
So generous.
And out in the snow, Pa Mouse isn't even fazed a little. He says, "We have certainly been having a most interesting adventure with people and bears." And Beverly starts to add it, "But thank goodness we didn't see any." And right on cue, a shadow creeps over them, and down swoops an owl, who picks up what's left of the tree and flies away. As Dad shouts on the back of it, "Trust me!"
I think the owls look great in this. I'll say that right up front.
Yeah, past and future guest Tony Whittaker has informed me these owl puppets originated in Jim Henson's Animal Show.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because they're pretty realistic looking.
Yeah, that was an educational show introducing kids to different animal species.
Mm-hmm. It was a talk show hosted by a polar bear and a skunk.
Right. Stinky and Jake, was it? Jake, you know. Yep. Polar bear named Jake.
Steve Whitmire and Dave Goelz, actually. Like, it was like they got the A-team to star in that thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's Gonzo and Rizzo.
Okay. I haven't watched a lot of Animal Show, but I remember it existing.
Sure. It's pretty fun. There's also, can I say one more thing about Animal Show?
You sure can.
They got Dave Goelz himself. Mm-hmm. The puppeteer behind Gonzo, Bunsen Honeydew, Boober Fraggle. They did an episode called Humans, where their guest is Dave the Human. And since Dave Goelz was playing Stinky the Skunk, Dave the Human is performed by Bill Beretta as a puppet, but the nature footage, the nature footage is Dave Goelz and his actual family just like in their house and like doing the artwork.
Oh, beautiful
stuff. It's great.
Wow.
So fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There are so many other Muppet productions you could watch.
It's true. It's so true.
But yeah, Pa Mouse is still shouting, "Trust me," as they're all getting carried away by an owl. That keeps getting repeated a lot through this whole special. And I thought, oh, that must have been a thing from the book. Nope.
There's not even owls in the book.
No.
There's no owls. Yeah.
They replace it with foxes. Do foxes eat mice? Probably. But meanwhile, back at Mr. Willoughby's, he's carrying presents and singing about dancing and caroling and romancing as he glances upstairs.
I'll be dancing and caroling and romancing.
He calls for Baxter, who doesn't answer, but he eventually finds Baxter outside by the garbage covered in snow and holding the sprig of the tree Miss Adelaide gave to him kind of tenderly. Is he listening to her sing outside her window?
Yes, absolutely.
Out by the garbage as Mr. Willoughby shuts the door and a pile of snow falls on him?
Now, what is he doing out there?
Listening to Miss Adelaide, just pining for her, holding that little sprig of the tree.
Why can't he do that in the hall where it's warm?
I don't know. Because her window's open so he can hear her sing.
All right.
I guess that's slightly less creepy than like holding an ear to her door. I don't know.
I'm new to this stalker thing, so I'll defer to his expertise.
Right. Yeah. Back to the mice on their bit of tree being carried through the forest by an owl, and Kermit tells us,
high in the pine trees, the owls gather in their icy cathedral. It is a special night.
Is it a country owl jamberoo? Well, sort of. Kermit explains it's a night of music and wondrous celebration, and we see the owl playing a row of icicles like some kind of whimsical musical instrument. It sounds like a glass harp, like when you have a bunch of drinking glasses filled with different levels of water. Like Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality.
Yes. Excellent reference, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, great work.
We see several owls moving their mouths like they're singing, but we don't hear actual vocal singing of any kind.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a MIDI file.
Yeah, it is a MIDI file. Maybe the glass harp music we hear is supposed to be what owls are supposed to sound like when they sing? I don't know. And the mice just watch these owls in amazement and fear, mostly fear, until one owl approaches the tree, which once again is too tall for their nest. So the owl snaps off the top, sending it and the mice dropping to the snowy ground below.
It's too many times.
Yeah, and this is the point of my note-taking where I typed the following into the search bar. How far of a drop can mice survive?
Yeah, sure.
The answer is 10 to 12 feet, so they're believably okay here, but they've endured a lot tonight.
And they presumably fell on snow, which would probably comfort, depending on how fresh it is, might cushion the fall more than, if you fell on concrete or something.
Yeah, I think it's still snowing here. I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, it looks like fresh snow. And now, Pa Mouse once again starts to sing his song, but again he stops.
Look and you will see, this is how we cut. Oh. Well, what do you know? It's perfect.
They did it.
It's almost as though it was the size that a family of owls who eat mice would have been like, hey, look, this tree came with snacks.
You would think.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's Christmas. You have to be kind. No killing mice on Christmas.
Oh,
That's a Swedish
I didn't realize they were Swedish owls.
They're Swedish owls.
That's why they made shredded wheat and cranberry sauce. I was wondering.
Yes, it's a bird thing.
Another great reference. These are great, guys. We're doing great. I'm patting us on the back right now.
Yeah, see, you gotta reference all the good Muppet Christmas specials if we're gonna have to endure this one. But now the mice children ask, where are we? And Pa notices, hey, they're right where he intended them to be, right at their own front door somehow, because lo and behold, they're in front of Mr. Willowby's mansion.
They made it home.
I'm sorry, do you mean to tell me there was a crazy new wave owl concert just outside Willoughby Manor and he doesn't even know about it? Someone needs to tell him.
Yeah, Stockard Channing was jamming with them with their open window. It was it was a mashup.
Oh, that would have been great.
Someone needs to tell him that his quantitudinal abundance of cleverosity includes an owl concert.
Yeah, this seems like the exact sort of thing that this exact sort of rich person would be really into.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call it a hootenanny?
Oh, they should have. Oh, you... Kermit, I'm disappointed. It was right there.
Leaving money on the table, Kermit.
I mean, you the honeypot waltz became a thing. You could have had the owl hootenanny, the icy cathedral hootenanny. But no, they're right back home, and it seems like Pa Mouse has to go through this every Christmas because he very confidently says we're right where we're intended to be. This happens every time, and I'm just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So inside they walk with their perfect tree until Beverly's tail gets stepped on by Baxter, who picks her up and calls her a veritable infestation, and he just won't have it. Pa tries to yell, "Put her down, you Limburger," but Baxter doesn't even hear him. And in the middle of all this, Mr. Willowby starts opening the door to his ballroom or gathering space or whatever and welcoming guests to his Christmas Eve party. And we then hear Miss Adelaide singing about Christmas, starting round the perfect tree, and Baxter remembers her plea to be kind, and his heart grows 3 sizes. Tells little Beverly Mouse,
"'Tis Christmas for the greatest to the smallest. Away you go, little mouse."
And he lets her go. Tells her to hurry home for Christmas, and they indeed hurry home as Baxter waves the mice goodbye. Until Epiphany, and then I board up your mouse hole. Well, the mice return home. We finally get a glimpse of Mr. Willowby's Christmas party, and Kermit has arrived in his tux and white bow tie. It's his usual, well, looks like everything worked out for everyone, but something felt off to me about the way he delivers this line. He says,
"And now it's time to celebrate. Come, join Mr. Willowby's party."
Just somehow it sounded oddly forced to me.
It felt off.
Well done.
All I do is puns.
It just sounded like, please join this party. He's holding Robin for ransom. But all of Kermit's lines in this are awkward like that. But that one in particular was just like, are you okay? Blink once. Oh, no, he can't blink.
They had the tape on during him just reading them to himself. And they're like, okay, we're going to record now. And then they press stop. And then he delivered his actual lines. So they just have to go with his first reading during rehearsal.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Probably true.
We see Mr. Willowby replace a rather small stocking that was hung by the chimney with care with a much larger one. And I wonder whether that was supposed to be his stocking or someone else's. Like, I wonder if he was in the middle of doing that for his entire staff, because I could go either way with him.
Yeah, maybe he's giving Baxter and Miss Adelaide giant stockings.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Been playing matchmaker this whole time.
He's so generous and Christmassy.
He is.
Whatever.
I like his outfit quite a bit. He's got a little green vest and matching bow tie. He looks great.
He does.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dancing while Baxter is standing in the corner looking as awkward as ever. when Mr. Willoughby looks up at the staircase and Baxter turns to see Miss Adelaide has decided to join the party this year, and she descends the staircase like the nerdy high school girl in her prom dress, and she's suddenly beautiful. She is wearing a lovely red gown, and Mr. Willoughby kind of nudges Baxter in her direction like, hurry up, man, and the two start happily dancing, and Miss Adelaide is taken aback, asking Baxter, in her awful fake Swedish accent,
Oh, Mr. Baxter, where did you learn to dance like this?
Madam, have you ever been to Buenos Aires?
Have you ever been to Buenos Aires?
That's what he said.
Aires.
Buenos Aires, yeah.
Never heard anyone as white as Leslie Nielsen pronounce it Aires before.
I've never heard anyone pronounce it Buenos Aires.
Nope.
You know what would have been good if she had started dancing to Lime in the Coconut with Diane Wiest instead at the end. And I was just watching Practical Magic instead.
We could have had something. But Mr. Willoughby is busy dancing with one of his younger guests, a little girl who's standing on his toes as he leads. Y'all ever dance like that with your kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, when they were way little.
They were little, yeah.
Sure, yeah. I kind of want to try and get one of my daughters, if they ever get married, to do that during our wedding dance. That would be funny.
That would be adorable.
Yeah. But Mr. Willoughby reprises the only decent song in this special as he asks Baxter and Miss Adelaide if he may cut in. They oblige, and he starts dancing with both of them because he's a jokester. He finally stops to take a minute to take in one more look at his perfect tree. And now we get a little montage of every other piece of the perfect tree that got hacked off and taken by someone else to be decorated as their perfect tree.
Yeah.
Then we get one last break of Nabisco commercials, including one with a mall Santa who goes on break to have an Oreo cookie and immediately takes off his Santa beard. Yo, children were watching this. Like, the joke of the commercial is that there's another guy coming in to take over a shift, and he appears to be the real Santa. Mm-hmm. So they try and save it, but I wonder if that commercial spot just ruined the mall Santa experience for some very tiny Muppet enthusiast in 1995.
Oh, don't worry. They had all turned it off.
right.
Yeah, they fell asleep. Oh. We could have ended the special there, but now we need to see Kermit leaving the party, I guess. The gates close behind him, and he just wishes us a quick happy holidays, good night. Followed by a little snippet of Ned and Beverly telling their mother all about their adventure, making sure to add, you should have seen Pa, he was so brave, and she replies, your father? Which is such a classic mom reply.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it, we made it.
Well, then we get coming up on the news. Michael Jackson collapsed on stage, and I'm like, "Oh, I now instantly know where I was."
Yeah, right.
When this
What was that? The history tour, I think.
Yep.
Oh boy, that dates this.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else dates this like the Michael Jackson history tour. Any final thoughts on the whirlwind that is Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree?
Well, you did mention the one halfway decent song that got nominated for a Emmy.
The song did?
Yeah, I was going to say a daytime Emmy, but that can't be right.
Yeah, this aired in prime time right after a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Right.
right. Which is like Nickelback coming on right after the Beatles.
It's so true.
Yeah, okay, so it got nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award in 1996 for that song.
Huh.
Wow.
Cool, I guess.
It lost to Let's Settle Down from the 1995 adaptation of Bye Bye Birdie.
Huh. All right.
Oh, I did see that now that you mention it. I think it must be like from a special, so I guess like Slim Pickens.
Yeah.
We need 5 of these.
Well, I was scrolling. Well, this is Christmas specials wiki, and I saw on the table of contents it said accolades. I was like, accolades. I do not believe you, sir.
You said accolades. Do you mean Miss Adelaide? That's what you said.
Adelaide's 1.
Comma miss.
Yeah. Oh, man. I didn't even know about this 1995 Bye Bye Birdie. Jason Alexander in the Dick Van Dyke role. Huh.
Wow.
All right.
Oof. I can see it. Well, I mean,
sure.
he would. Yeah, like he was all right in that Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston.
Yeah, he was good in that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you if we have Dick Van Dyke at home and it turns out it's Jason Alexander, like you're disappointed.
Oh no. Tony winner Jason Alexander.
I mean, look, no disrespect to Jason Alexander, but he is no Dick Van Dyke.
Sure, yeah, fair enough.
Well, who
fair
is?
Enough. Right.
This definitely feels like it was thrown together in a very short amount of time. I will say it looks gorgeous. There's a lot of great set pieces, including the woods themselves and that owl's nest.
So the production designer is Val Strazovic, who did Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island right before and after this.
All right.
So he knows what he's doing.
He does. That explains a lot right there by itself.
Yeah.
They definitely did not need to add the romantic angle between Baxter and Miss Adelaide. I think they could have given either Baxter or Mr. Willowby more to do, perhaps witnessing more of the adventures of the rest of the tree.
Oh, please don't give Mr. Willowby any more to do.
Well,
he's done enough.
Well, and I think in the book we get like cute little dialogue scenes like between the Fox family, the Rabbit family. And I think it would have been better to have like the owls be character. Like, I don't know. It just feels like.
Yeah, the owls feel like they were thrown in last minute. And it's just like, look, we have other animals. We need another bit of this tree to be shorter.
Yeah. And I mean, like, but on the other hand, the bears talk and it's all terrible. So, like, I don't know that the owls speaking would solve the problem, but it does feel strange that they don't.
But yeah, in the book, there's not mice all the way through it. The mice show up at the very end.
Right.
So, like, if Kermit is going to be the through line, just let Kermit be the through line and don't have us bother. Like, just let it be a bunch of vignettes, like, what do they call those kind of shows? Anthology, like just an anthology, but it all just follows the tree.
Anthology of the perfect tree.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. We don't need the drama of, oh wait, we're still stuck in this tree that inexplicably no one can see us in.
Right.
Yes, and doing the same thing over and over. Like I think it's just the dad's about to cut it, and then they're like, oh, we're falling. Oh, the thing that's happening is wonderful. Oh, we're falling.
And Christmassy.
Yeah, like
they called the owls Christmassy. They called the bears Christmassy.
Yeah. They're trying so hard to convince, instead of writing a good special that families would enjoy, they just have the mice be like, this is the most Christmassy special, a family classic. A worthy companion to a Charlie Brown Christmas. They're just like, I remember the great scene in Willowby's where the mice are like, Linus was wrong. This is the meaning of Christmas.
All that said, if you just love seeing Muppets on your TV, this is a fine background noise special to put on and do something else, like decorate or have a party. I say that a lot, but I mean it every time.
Yeah, it's like as bad as it is. Like we've been talking about how bad it is, and I think we're right. But like it goes down pretty smooth. Like it's painless. It's 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. It's quick.
Yeah, it's good if you have younger kids; they might enjoy it.
Yeah, like I said, my daughter's in 4th grade, and she still was like, "This is fun. Why haven't we seen this?" You know,
right?
Like,
she sees Muppets on the screen and is entertained, and that describes all of us,
right?
And Little Iron Man,
and Little Iron,
baby Iron Man, and
as a treat,
and slightly older Frank Drebin.
Keep up the good work. We're all counting on you. But thank you both for cutting out a tiny chunk of your day to talk about this special with me. This was a blast.
Oh, absolutely. What a thrill. Thanks for inviting us.
Yes, thank you for having me on.
And if people want to invite you to a honeypot waltz and or Icy Owl Cathedral concert, where can they find you on the internet, Anthony?
So you can find me co-hosting Moving Right Along, as we've said, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. And we've been covering the Muppet movies 2 minutes at a time for many years now. We're about 2/3 of the way through Muppet Treasure Island. And I guess by the time this comes out, we're even more of the way through Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you'll be done yet. But...
No, I think we'll be done in January, I believe.
Okay.
To our current schedule.
I love the music in that movie.
Yeah.
I used to, Cabin Fever was on endless repeat back in the day.
Sure. Awesome. But other than that, you can follow me on Blue Sky at Durwood Clapper. I'm sticking it out on Blue Sky. And you can follow me on Letterboxd at Zeppo Marxist if you wanna see what kind of nonsense I've been watching.
And Tim.
Well, you can find the Can't Wait for Christmas podcast at can'twaitforchristmaspod.com. If you want to find us on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, we are Can't Wait for Christmas Pod. On the abyss formerly known as Twitter, we are just Christmas Pod. But we're rarely on there, so don't bother.
Yeah, well. Please visit all of those things that you wish. Of note, by the time this airs, I will have been on the Can't Wait for Christmas podcast talking about 5 Christmas episode of Muppet TV series.
And it will have been awesome.
It will have been.
And you were on my show this season too. We should say that.
I was on an episode of Moving Right Along talking about probably the 2 least action-packed minutes of Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, I promise you we will get you a better scene in Check's Notes, Muppets from Space.
Oh, yeah.
So.
We talked about Polaris a lot. It was great.
We did. That's true.
But you can find all of those links in the show notes of this episode, and you can find me wherever I'm hiding on the internet presently. Just head over to adventcalendar.house, and you can take it from there. Tune in next time when... What's next time? I don't know. Oh, now I remember. Well, until then, for Anthony and Tim, from the top of the top of the top of the top of the perfect Christmas tree... This is Mike Westfall reminding you to be careful of the icy patch, and for giant bears and owls looking to decorate their dens with a tree despite living in a forest. Good night, y'all.
Bye-bye.
It's me, Kermit.
We give our hearts in harmony to find the perfect tree.
Next time on the Advent Calendar House.